Is your middle name begin with an M? Is that what that's for? What is your middle name? Malik? Cedric Malik Gray?
Yeah.
Sid, so Kyle got the pick last week, and we have a bunch of photos of you all like doing one of these. Like what? I was just curious when I was looking through our photos, like what was that celebration about? What was going on?
It was something that Dez and Power kind of came up with before the game. It was just a little celebration. It said, whichever one of us makes the play, we're going to hit this celebration. So it was nothing crazy. It was just guys having fun. That's all it was.
Said before the Georgia State game last year, I remember Mac talked about the team needing to bring its own energy because kind of figured it would be a pretty sparse crowd there. Is that the message to the team this week before the first road game to, it's probably not going to be a sellout, but, bring your own energy?
I don't think that's really been the message, but whether we're playing in a big crowd or not, you have to bring your own energy. You have to come ready to play at any time. We play in a competitive league of college football, and you never want to be the team who kind of comes out flat and kind of catch yourself lacking. So I think we always try to come out and play hard and play physical and fast and never really try to come out flat no matter who's in the stands.
So Mac has told a story. He said after the game Saturday and then again yesterday, he reiterated about how in the third quarter, I think it may have been after Armani's interception, Alfred's got a field goal. He was going over to you guys to say something about you got to make that stand up, and you were already saying it to the defensive players. Do you remember that moment? And what were you saying? And how have you grown into being the guy that can say that, and the guys will actually respond to it?
Yeah, so Coach did come up, and he kind of already seen me talking, and he was like, good job. I was getting ready what I was going to say to the guys, but I think there are just, different kind of key moments in the games where defenses kind of need to get stops. Obviously going into halftime, coming out of halftime, or maybe where we're kind of at a point in the game where we can put the game away. And I kind of felt that was kind of the moment in the game. And felt like, we just really needed to get a big stop there. So, my message to the guys were, hey, like they don't get nothing here. They don't get no points. We're going to go out there. We're going to get them to stop. Just really putting the focus on this is, kind of a big drive in the game, and we must get a stop. So that was really kind of my message to the defense before we went out onto the field.
Cedric, do you ever plan one of those out, like 10 seconds or 15 seconds in advance? Or do you ever, or do you just let it run?
It's planned out a little bit. Usually I try to gather the defense up, so as I'm kind of gathering the guys up, I might kind of think about what I'm going to say. But like I said, it's usually kind of in particular moments in the game where we have to get a stop. Usually it's with those moments in the game where I try to speak up to the defense where, this is an important drive.
So is part of your growth sensing when you have to do that? And the second part of that question, have you kind of been able to see the guys respond more when you do say those things now, maybe as opposed to when you first started doing it? And have you gotten better at it?
Yeah, I think I've always kind of had a good gauge of important moments in the game. I think my growth came as just being a leader and just actually speaking up in those moments and, trying to get my teammates to respond. I know I have a pretty good level of respect of all my teammates, so whenever I say something, I feel like it kind of motivates them and kind of gets them going. So, that's what I was just trying to do on that drive.
So when you first got to UNC, was there, a certain player that kind of had the voice that you pretty much have now among the team that you kind of learned from and just observed the way that they were able to come?
Yeah, by far, Jeremiah Kimball. That was my OG. That was the person that I looked up to. I had a close relationship with, who helped me with everything, but also was a leader of the team and the leader of the defense. His nickname used to be the General because he was just that much of a leader. So that was definitely the person that I looked up to when I first got here.
Is there a specific younger guy that you kind of had a similar relationship with in this team?
Yeah, I've gotten really close with Deuce Caldwell and Amari Campbell. Really kind of all the young guys, honestly. That's something that I, kind of take pride on because I remember when I was a younger guy and, kind of being clueless on things and not understanding things. So, I try to be the guy who kind of, answers their questions, kind of help them whenever they're needed, get them motivated, And like I said, just trying to be a better leader. Because, when I go, those guys got to step in and they got to play. So, I want the best for Carolina. I want the best for those guys. I'm really close with them. So that's just what I've been trying to be able to do.
Do you remember if there was a passing of the torch moment between Jeremiah and you where he sort of gave you that leadership mantle during his last season?
I mean, yeah, I think everybody kind of knew, after his last year, him leaving, everybody kind of honestly felt I could step up and kind of be one of the leaders on the defense. So I definitely think it kind of prepared me for this moment. Like I said, he was a great leader, a great example, somebody that I was able to follow and kind of take what I learned from him and apply it now as a leader of the defense.
Do you still talk with him a lot? Does he text you after games?
Yeah. I talk to him probably on a weekly basis. So we definitely do still have a great relationship.
When Matt came over the defensive role, have you reached the point now where you just look around and say, I got it, coach? And will he let you do that?
I don't even think I really had to say it. I mean, I think he kind of seen me doing what I was doing in that moment in the game, and he just kind of tapped me and said, good job, I appreciate you doing that, being a leader that you are. So, I don't think I really have to tell him to do anything. Whenever he sees me kind of doing my thing, he kind of just lets it be.
One other thing, too, that he was talking about a difference in body language among some of the defenders this year. And, no head hanging, positive. Do you take it upon yourself to be the guy that kind of show the way in that regard?
Yeah, I think I take a big pride in, like I said, kind of motivating my guys. Even when something bad happens, like you said, keep guys from hanging their head or looking sad or worrying about the last play. We still have a lot of ball to play in the game. We still have opportunities to make it up and different things like that. And I actually allude to a story during the App State game. I remember the App State receiver got like a one-handed catch on Marcus, and I kind of noticed him down, and I just kind of told him to pick his head up. You're going to get it back. And later in the fourth quarter, it was kind of an important drive. It was a tight game. It was a third down play. They threw an out route to their sideline, and he was right there to break it up. And I was like the first guy to kind of meet him, and I was like, I told you you're going to get it back. I told you you're going to make it up. So I just try to lift guys up whenever I notice that.
You guys have faced 5 sudden change situations so far. It's 4 after the interceptions and 1 after the onside kick. Only allowed 2 field goals. Why have you guys been so successful in those situations?
Like I said, I think that is something that Coach Chiz kind of talked about, these sudden changes. And not only that, but just red zone defense in general. And those sudden changes, positions we were kind of put into the red zone right off the bat. And I think that's something that we've just, been performing on. We got a little saying on the defense, bend, don't break. And so I think that's just what we were able to do, just play great red zone defense. Guys are just fighting to not let them into the end zone, and I think it's just showing.
How much is your experience a part of that? You guys have a lot of older dudes, a bunch of college graduates, guys that have played a ton. How much does that play into it as well?
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think we have a lot of experience. Just with B, Power, this is his second year. A lot of our D linemen, we all came in together back in 2020. We got Gio back there, Armani, who's a transfer who played a lot of snaps at Virginia Tech, Huzzy, who's an older guy. So we definitely got some older guys who played a lot of football, gathered experience, and been on the kind of bad side of things. And I think we've kind of learned from those things in the past, and be able to be better now in the present.
What does the start of ACC play mean to you in terms of taking maybe the motivation up another notch? And personally, do you look at it as your last ride through the league? Do you want to make sure you make the most of it this time?
Yeah, definitely look at it as my last ride. But yeah, it's important. We're ready for conference play. One of my biggest goals, and I think one of the team's goals, is to get to the ACC championship. And obviously, all these ACC games kind of determine that. So it's definitely important. We're really starting to get into the season now, and so we're just ready to kind of attack it.
I know a lot of people talk about the best teams are player-led, right? Like that always seems to be a key thing with good, successful teams. Is that something that you intentionally go into the season as, okay, I will be the leader. Time to be player led. Or is that something that just kind of comes more naturally to you? Is that who you are as a person?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think I've always kind of been a little bit of a natural leader. I think God has kind of blessed me with that ability to that. But I think, at times last year, maybe I could have been a better leader, at the end of the season, and try to get my message across about not coming out flat and different things of that nature, because that's what kind of hurt us at the end of the season, not getting complacent. So I think I just wanted to grow as a leader as a whole, but I've always felt like I've been a natural leader, so I think I just tried to expand on the talents that I already had.
How do you work on being a leader? Is it just repetitions at practice type of thing? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's just being able to speak up. As a student of the game, and somehow I notice a lot of different things, and sometimes you may say something, sometimes you don't. And I just feel like the more I kind of speak up, the more I kind of give my 2 cents or whatever. That might be the motivational thing that guy needed. That might have been the tip that can make a difference in the game for somebody. So that's just really what I've been trying to do.
So yesterday, Mac was talking about responding well to positives, kind of talking about having the 3-0 record and making sure that, guys aren't being complacent or whatever the case may be. But to you, what does that kind of look like? What does a good response to what you all have done, what does a good response look like to you?
Yeah, like I said, I kind of highlight it all the time. We can never get too high, but you can never get too low. And I think, a great example today, we came out of practice, and kind of before we started team period, I kind of told the defense, hey, let's get after it today. We're 3-0. We got a great start. Let's not get complacent. Let's keep going. Let's go even harder now, because we know challenges are gonna come throughout the season. It's going to get harder and different things. And like I said, we've only won 3 games. We still got 9 more to go. We got a lot of football to play, so there's no reason to kind of get up on our high horse.
Sid, how would you assess or diagnose what you have seen in your study of Pitt so far, Pitt this year, as opposed to the Pitt teams if you played in the past? Vanderkamp is not there anymore, obviously, but it seems like they're having some issues on offense. How would you sort of assess or compare the Pitt teams you played against offensively to what you've seen now on the field?
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar teams schematically. I think they kind of are who they are schematically. They're going to get 12 personnel, 2 tight ends going to run the ball. They're going to run over routes and different things like that. The difference, I would say, I don't think they're as talented as the previous Pitt teams. But, that doesn't mean anything. This is still Power 5 football. You got to come out and play every week. Everybody has a good player on their team. So, but like I said, I think, they're kind of very similar to how they were previous years schematically. So we just got to come up with a plan and be able to stop it.
Guys, really? Got one question first. What reputation do you think you guys are building on the defensive side of the ball so far through the first 3 games? We hear all this stuff about Pitt, playing bully ball and just being a little rough and after this type of stuff, whatever. But you guys going into this matchup, what reputation have you built for yourself on the defensive side going against Pitt?
Yeah, I think one of the reputations I think we kind of develop early is that we're going to get after the passer and pass rush. I think that's kind of something that we've kind of developed. But also I think we're trying to become more of a physical team and embed that into our culture. And I think that's something that we were able to kind of show. These first few games, just hard sledding, physical, resilient games. So I think that's the culture that we're really trying to set for our defense.
So is Armani Chapman the answer at corner now, do you think?
I definitely think he's a good player. I'm not the coach. I'm not going to sit here and say who's the answer and who's not the answer. But he definitely had a great game versus Minnesota. Was able to get a few pass breakups. Was able to get an interception. So I think we're just really creating depth at that position. That's what I'm more happy about than anything. But he was able to make some plays, and like I said, he's played a lot of football. He was at Virginia Tech previously, so he has experience. He's been in these moments before, so he's definitely been a great addition to our defense.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Appreciate it.